Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to episode 86 of the Seezus Show. Keep stockpiling, love it. Every single week, releasing some good content. It feels pretty good, man. Honestly, we've been just going through a lot of BS within the United States, but I'm not the type to lose focus of whatever's going on, and I see the bigger picture. But the little healing factor that we have with the NBA coming back, I have to say, is pretty lovely as well too. So it's pretty good to always have, more content that's basketball related to address as well too. But before we get into today's episode, which is episode 86, I always like to rehash everything. So on episode 85 of the Season Show, it was your boy Trader XXIV and myself, and we discussed a couple of topics: the 2K21 cover athletes, J.R. Smith officially signing with the Lakers, the strength of schedule for the 8th through 13th seed for the battle for the 8th seed, the Nets being in shambles with multiple injuries and positive cases, social injustice, jersey labels, Victor Oladipo sitting out, Patty Mills and Dwight donating their paychecks to a greater cause, for the movement that's going on. Dwight actually enlisting back into, the NBA for the Lakers and much, much more. Very good episode, and I hope you guys enjoy it as well, too. So before we get into today's hottest topics for episode 86, ladies and gentlemen, make some noise for my co-host, the one and only, the OG, Trade Day XXIV. Let's go.
What's up, y'all? Welcome to episode 86 of the Seezus Show.
Woo, 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 woo.
Hope everybody's doing well. It seems like, you got to keep your head on a swivel nowadays. But we are here in the here and now. The present's all we got, so let's make the most of it. Let's do this. You already know.
Cheers, cheers, cheers.
Cheers.
All right, so
Get that water.
first thing I want to talk about is the one and only light skin, Fresh Prince,
Sniper.
6'10",
Sniper.
Australia, can shoot from wherever.
More two for your head top.
Ben Simmons. So Ben Simmons made two separate headlines in the past couple of days. We're going to talk about the first one first. So basically, Brett Brown came out and said that he's thrilled with what's been going on as far as the mini practices that, the 76ers have been having since they've been in the bubble and whatnot. And one thing that he said was, my plan is to place Ben Simmons exclusively at the power forward position as well too. And he thought that, he's very dynamic. Basically, so I'm gonna quote him. He said, he's so dynamic. Let's just talk about running. There's nobody faster in the NBA. So to always have the ball and dribble it up against five players, to do that dilutes some of his potent weapons. So watching him fly up the floor, watching him and Joel play off of each other has been a really good look. I think they've been fantastic together as well, too. Ben Simmons kind of weighed in on it a little bit as well, too. They're kind of doing like a virtual interview with the media members, which is pretty dope through Zoom, to ensure players are safe, minimize the amount of people that go into the bubble, and, we want answers. So basically Ben Simmons was like, he could care less. He's all in. He said, if you put me on the floor, I'll make anything happen. He makes plays. He gets buckets. He stops people. He can guard anybody through the 1 through 5. He can run the floor, get to the rim, score. Wherever you put him, he's going to make it happen. So he said, for people who are constantly, talking about the NBA and whatnot, that's us creating that narrative of 1 through 5, and we kind of gone to a positionless, time as well too. So it really don't matter as well. But it's going to be interesting because at first, obviously, their GM Elton Brand, he essentially, lost out on Jimmy Butler, lost out on JJ Redick, and he could have signed any other free agent. I think there would have been a couple pieces that they could have gotten, but he decided to go with Al Horford. So obviously Al Horford, in many's opinion, thought he was overpaid. I don't necessarily think he's overpaid. I just feel like with the team that he's in, the system that they're trying to run, he's not as valuable as we thought he would be. Okay. So we started at the 4 with Embiid at the 5, with Richardson at the 2, Ben Simmons at the 1, and at the 3 had Tobias Harris. Now it's looking like it's going to be shake, Milton at the 1, Richardson at the 2, Harris at the 3, Simmons at the 4, and Embiid at the 5. So I feel like he's going to be very effective in the post. He's going to utilize his size, so he's going to be, cause a mismatch for a lot of people as well, too. I feel like he's going to get double-teamed a lot, therefore opening up the floor for everybody. Obviously, we know he's one of the best passers in the NBA, and he's just going to take, like I said, take advantage of his sizes and athleticism. And most importantly, it's about time Brett Brown try to shake something up as well, too, because we all know that his job is kind of on the line. We had this whole X amount of years for trust the process. Finally got him through the process. They won 50 games one year, came back, were basically a lucky bounce, from getting to the Eastern Conference Finals. And no one knows what happens after that against the Bucks. And now to, go into, the start of the season where everyone rules them to basically the prohibitive favorite to get to the finals, or at least the Eastern Conference Finals. And for them to kind of take a step back, you kind of really had to think, like, what can happen now? But what are your thoughts on, Ben Simmons finally playing the power forward full time?
It kind of seems like we're gearing up for like a boxing match, and like the hype man is like, he's 6'8", he can shoot it, he can dribble the ball, he can do it all. Ben Simmons. He'll knock you out. He's out here hyping him up. It's like, dog, he's a basketball player. It's what he's supposed to do. It's what we're paying him to do. You know what I'm saying? And then Ben Simmons is over there in the corner, like, yeah, I'm gonna do it too. He's like weighing at like a UFC match, man. And I think it's dope though. I mean, Simmons at the 4, which is gonna open the floor up for them. I mean, the sheer fact that you just alluded to, them wasting a whole bunch of money on Al Horford, is very tough. And from a management standpoint, and possibly a coaching standpoint, could put a nail in the coffin, honestly. But that's not what I want to get on. I think, again, I said last week I made a very bold prediction. I said I was sending the Sixers to the finals, so we'll put a pin in that. And if I'm very wrong, we won't talk about it. But if I'm very right, you're gonna hear that for a while.
You get my money.
No, chill out. But no, I mean, I think it's high time to shake some stuff up. I mean, you have the best player in the league, Shake Milton. You got Richardson. Like Shake was hooping, dog.
Nah, he was hooping.
He was
hooping.
COVID
happened, bro.
Dog.
For real, especially when Ben Simmons had that lower back and shoulder injury.
How you gonna guard somebody named Shake? You're not. I promise you, I'm not lacing up against him. Promise you that. It seems like a strong little shake up. I mean, people are gonna have to account for that, and it kind of helps them match up for teams that do play a little bit quicker, which is, again, it's becoming basketball nowadays. You got the Miami Heat that run solar powered on Bam, and him being a Swiss Army knife. You have the 6'25", 6'13", 6'12", 6'11", 6'10" point guard and Giannis over there, and you have the Toronto, who are kind of the perennial powers in the Eastern Conference that do play a quicker style of basketball. I think the most conservative team as far as style of basketball might be Toronto, honestly. And then you can still put Siakam and Ibaka that are quicker big men. So, I mean, the league is speeding up. The slower guys are coming in off the bench, per se. You're kind of anchors in the paint. And it helps that, Joel Embiid is a once-in-a-lifetime big man and can kind of get it done with his athleticism. You're going to have a mismatch with him either on offense or on defense, if not both, if you don't play your cards the right way. So I think him shaking it up is a really good thing. Now, on to Ben Simmons shooting threes.
Ben Simmons shooting threes.
Are we going to see it?
Well, before we even see it, I just wanted to, start that out as another topic, but you called it. So basically today, Ben Simmons went viral yet again. It seems like it's kind of like the boy who cried wolf, or I don't really know how to describe it. Like, we always, all right, so that one dude who for a fact is always about that talk and never about that action.
Okay.
And he always be like, yeah, I got this joint coming out. At the time come. Where's happening? What's happening? Yo, I'm working on it. I feel like that's how it is with Ben Simmons.
Okay.
Love the guy. I think he's one of the best players in the NBA. But like I said, he went viral and he was shooting a bunch of threes. His form looked all right, and he was just drilling the threes as well too. So I mean, this is some things we've seen in the past. And Snell, basically Tony Snell, he was like, "Yo, you should be shooting way more. Your shot looks good." Ben Simmons said, "Orlando, it's Orlando," and then Snell said, "Orlando, well, I'll be watching." Simmons said, "I'm coming for it." So
Maybe
with
he's a
what you
liar.
said, do you think that Ben Simmons is going to add a 3-point shot? Now, my biggest thing was, there's some people who obviously like he's on the grandest stage of all when you're playing in front of 18,000 plus people on every given night. But maybe with the shooting aspect, he kind of gets nervous being around a large crowd. So do you think with no crowd being there, and it essentially being a new season, because let's face it, like we took a 3 out of hiatus, that's basically how much time you have to work on your game and whatnot.
Yeah.
Do you see him attempting more threes? Because if you looked at this past season, he actually attempted 6 threes, made 2 of them, and that's not a bad start. 33% this year. But what are your thoughts on everything?
You know where I'm going. Don't do this. Ben Simmons is the shawty that you kick it with once, and it's real dope, and you keep texting her to kick it. You know what I'm saying? Like, kick it, get to know her some more. But she always has an excuse because she's still hanging out with her ex that she can't stand.
I like where you're going.
That she told you about.
Yeah.
That was trash. That didn't do her right.
Lay the pipe down.
But I wasn't even going there.
I'm guilty of that.
But that didn't treat her right. But you're over there like, hey, what's up? What you doing? Oh, it's gonna have to be another day. Or she makes plans with you, and then once it comes to the time, she's like, hey, something came up. Hey, it's like, shawty, it's 10 o'clock at night. Nothing came up.
Yeah.
You're with him.
Yeah.
And I love you. So, but tying it back into basketball, I'm on one today, guys. It's a good day. But tying it back into basketball, I want to see him shoot threes, but the track record shows, and fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, can't put the blame on you.
Cool.
I'm not going. Fool me 3 times, put the peace sign, let it rain on you. But I'm not going for it, man. I don't know if we're actually gonna see him shooting a plethora of threes in the game, and I mean like him shooting like Dame like threes in a way, kind of like expanding the range, because we know Ben Simmons can get past people. I mean, he's a forward that plays the point guard role and could be devastating, but unless he's gonna pull up and make people respect him, kind of in that range, definitely anytime he's open or vaguely open for that, I don't believe it. I don't believe it because him just shooting 1 or 2 more threes a game is still not him shooting threes to me. And the fact that we've been having this conversation is telling me that he's not going to shoot threes. It's kind of it's like rhetorical. So
Who knows? I feel like even what you said, like with the whole a girl still stuck on her ex or whatnot, like, or
she
just
doesn't want you.
that too, but you like you said, you start to notice these cycles,
Patterns,
right?
Yeah.
And I'm starting to notice this cycle with Ben Simmons as well too. And for me, I don't know if because of COVID he has a new perspective on things as well too. But for me, a lot of times when you reach a certain age, like unless something like traumatic or something major happens to you, you're not going to want to change. So he can be shooting threes. It's easy to shoot threes when no one's there, but we'll see when the time comes as well. But like we said, this is like a, kind of like an AAU type of situation. Like we said, there's no fans there or anything. It's literally probably just a little bit of the media. Obviously the camera people, televising the games, and a little bit of the media and the players and essential staff and refs. But aside from that, like, there's no excuses anymore as well too. I mean, obviously he's playing the power forward, so that already lets me know that Brett Brown's like, yo, you're fucking up our floor spacing, so we're going to need you down there.
Oh, God.
So I don't even see him, attempting threes like that. Maybe it would be nice if he at least does 1 a game. If he can just attempt 1 a game, that'll be lit. But I really doubt that's going to happen as well too. So Ladies and gentlemen, in a couple weeks from now, when the season starts, me and Trey will update you on if Ben Simmons shoot threes consistently. But from here on out, I don't believe that. All right.
Yeah, facts.
So obviously last week we talked about Victor Oladipo. Victor Oladipo essentially came out and said, I've never had this type of injury before. I'm still trying to get back to 100%. Plus COVID, I don't want to put myself at risk. So I'm basically not going to play, even though I'm going to travel with the team, which if someone gets infected on our team, I still have a chance of getting infected. If you're going to be around the team the whole time, like come on, bro. Anyways, I respected it.
Yeah.
And we talked about it. We said, he came back like after they already had played, 45, 50 games. So although we know the talent that he provides to his team, the extra umph to his team is just like they've been doing so well without you, and they essentially don't need you right now. But, they said that when he got to the bubble, he started to work out a little bit, and I think the major concern was I think he tore his I want to say it's his patellar tendon. So he tore his patellar tendon, and essentially no one of his caliber still in their prime has had that gruesome of an injury. So he didn't really know how his body was going to react. But from doing a little bit of scrimmaging and practicing, he said he feels really, really good. So there's some optimism that he's, going to be reconsidering his decision to not sit out as well too. So he said, as quote, "It was hard for me to assess where I was at from the long layover, and obviously with the coronavirus, couldn't really control that," Oladipo told reporters during Wednesday's Zoom availability. "But now, coming down here and getting some practices and getting my feet under me, getting out there playing with the guys is a possibility that I could play. I'm just reassessing myself and my body every day. I think people fail to realize, like I said earlier, that this injury that I have is very unique. No one of my stature, of my ability, has ever had this injury before." So
What exactly was the injury? I'm sorry.
I think patellar tendon.
Okay.
So there's no one else that I have to look up to or could reassess from. So I'm learning and growing as the days and weeks go on, just like you guys are, but no one understands or knows what I feel or what I'm going through internally or what my body feels like. I know what I'm capable of. I know what standard I have to get to. I know how my body needs to feel in order to perform at the level that I'm capable of performing, because if I don't do that well, then everybody's going to write about how I didn't play that great at that great level, or how I didn't look as well too. So obviously we gave our thought process with everything last week, but it seems to me that he's going to essentially play, and I think there's stipulations on the line as well too. So when I say that, apparently, if he don't play, even though he's still with the team, I think he could lose up to $3 million. Wow. So get paid, young, get paid. But your thoughts on him potentially coming back? If he comes back, obviously we kind of talked about it last week, but what does he provide for the Indiana Pacers? Because I think they have at least six people on their team that average at least 15 plus points as well too. So with him coming back, that definitely with the neutral ground of playing basketball in a series, that could get a little scary. But what do you think?
Yeah, I think that makes them a surefire threat, if anything. I'm not sure if it makes them anything more than just like a minor, like, all right, they're on the radar type threat. Mm-hmm. Him kind of just basically being like, yo, I came down here just to kick it, but damn, I feel good. So you niggas better watch out. Yeah. Kind of thing. Yeah. He's like, yo, I might just restore the feeling. You know what I'm saying? So I think it's kind of scary. Because it's one of those things where it's like he's telling the media this, and I mean maybe the players around him, like in the Eastern Conference, are watching him practice possibly. Yep. Maybe it's like closed doors. Who knows? But it's something to take heed of, because it is Victor Oladipo, and it has been, 4 months since we saw him come back on the floor, and he didn't look bad.
But he looked good.
I mean, he didn't look good. He wasn't Victor Oladipo of late.
Which is expected.
Yeah.
Like, even when PG came back and whatnot as well, too. It takes time, man.
So
you're just throwing someone into the fire, they're going to burn up a little bit.
Yeah, you're going to char a little bit. But I think it's good. I mean, if you can implement him into the system, if you can get him at least comfortable with shooting some high level shots, getting some minutes on defense, and if he could play about 15 minutes a game, a solid 15 minutes a game, is going to help his team a lot. Definitely from his production standpoint, and him being out there, he's not going to be the number one option per se, but he can get you buckets, and he was the number one option at one point until his body gets right, which won't happen now. But he's a threat. So I think it's interesting. It'll be something to watch, and if they sneak a couple people just by him being out there, more power.
Yeah, definitely more power as well too. Moving on to our next topic, another low blow. It feels like the Lakers just can't catch a break. Rajon Rondo a couple days ago fractured his right thumb and is expected to miss 6 to 8 weeks
the season
as well too. So basically the entirety of the season.
Yeah.
But the way it's looking, if the Lakers get as far as they need to be, he may be available as well too. And his coach had already said that he's gonna. I think he's gonna make him be a part of like the coaching staff for the time being as well too. So obviously, Rajon Rondo's 34. There is a myth that is actually a true myth that there is a such thing as a playoff Rondo. So there's players who have their regular stats during the season, and once the playoffs arrive, every individual stat rises. He's one of those players who really ups his shit. So losing Avery Bradley, who's basically, would you say he's a point guard, combo guard? How would you assess Avery Bradley's game?
He's point combo guard. I say a combo guard,
Okay.
but I mean at the base of it, the best answer they have for a team with a high level perimeter player.
Yeah. Okay. So with what he just said, and obviously losing Rajon Rondo, it kind of feels like that puts more pressure on LeBron James moving forward. Because Rajon Rondo, obviously he's a veteran, and we talked about playoff Rondo, but he's one of those guys where, let's say, the starting five plays well, before LeBron and AD get subbed out, the score is like 19-12 or something like that. Rajon Rondo is actually able to command that offense and essentially dictate the pace of the game, just how Rondo does, and put everyone in position to be successful. So literally every possession, you're going to take a good quality shot. How do you feel about Rajon Rondo going away? And is that going to be problems for the Lakers moving forward, whether it be the 8 games of the regular season? Well, obviously that's going to give them enough time to figure out who they want to go, whether it's Caruso, whether it's Quinn Cook, whether it's a little bit more minutes for Danny Green, a little bit more minutes for Kuz or whatnot. But how do you feel that, that conflicts with the Lakers?
I mean, everything puts pressure on LeBron. If Quinn Cook's puppy decided to take the day off, that puts pressure on LeBron. I mean, that's just the name of the game. So it's something you didn't want to have to do. One guy goes down, dang. But at the same time, it's like, all right, we got Rondo, a veteran player, that he was probably going to give up a little bit more points, but we can work around it. We'll get good high percentage shots with him on the floor and stuff like that. Now, 2 guards down, granted, this is not the same team. You probably have some more shooters here and there. You have J.R. Smith now, too, as well as maybe Kuz will hit a few shots. And you have a Danny Green. And you have possibly a Quinn Cook that, let's not forget, got toasted up by Fred VanVleet last year. But we're not going to talk about that either. He got toasted up. That was tough. Hopefully he's better.
You're sick.
And I love Quinn, too. But he got flamed up by that man.
Facts.
Yeah. So it's starting to look more like a LeBron James team of late. Not strong guards on it. LeBron's primarily playing the point guard, which he has before. He has been this season. So maybe we won't. It's just that playoffs are about adjustments. That's where I'm going with this. Playoffs are about adjustments, and you throw your strongest look out there. You have to have a counter to that. And I would say maybe you would have started with your counter first and then throwing your stronger out there going down the stretch when you had Rondo and Avery Bradley and, a few more moving pieces. Now, when you're going up in a 7-game series against a team like Clippers, which was what we're all thinking we're going to see, it's going to be a tough outing. It's going to be a very tough outing. So it's going to come down to the IQ of LeBron, the game planning, and just the adjustments on the fly. And again, Doc Rivers is a tough person to beat like that. Not even saying the Clippers team, but just Doc Rivers, So we'll see what happens. But the odds are not in their favor currently. But, I mean, when are they ever for LeBron James the past few years?
Facts. So do you see LeBron playing more minutes, or do you see those minutes that were given to Rajon Rondo, given to Avery Bradley? Do you see a player like Caruso, or who'd you rather have? Taking up those minutes. Do you want to see Quinn Cook get more burn? Because I feel like he could be a spot up shooter. I haven't really paid too much attention to his defense. I didn't really see him play that much, but he could be someone. Obviously, people love Alex Caruso, high energy type of guy that kind of basically does anything you need on the floor. And a lot of times with what he does, it goes unnoticed. Or do you take a gamble and give those minutes to Dion Waiters, who is great at playing, pick and roll with anybody as well too. Who are you going with?
I think that the 8-game stretch is going to tell us a lot. So I think coming in between, I think of course you're going to give him to Quinn because there's going to be a strong base to start off with, but you're going to really throw a JR out there in a lot of ways. I'm not saying that JR is going to be a ball handler, but you're going to throw Dion and see what happens. And not with the first unit per se, but we're talking about bench scoring in a way because, LeBron and AD are going to be your first options on every chance you get.
60 points a night.
Yeah. So I think we're looking at the bench and we're really going to have to try some stuff and maybe not even try some stuff. Maybe they'll have a few plans in place and they'll lock in on those plans for the first 8 games. And then once they get to the playoffs, they'll say, yes, this works. Yes, this doesn't work, and so on and so forth. Because you have to troubleshoot within that small window of time. It's kind of like the preseason, and then boom, you're right into the,
So I guess it's a blessing, that players are going to start the scrimmage next week. And like you said, they pretty much already got the number 1 seed locked up. So like you said, they're going to use those 8 games to, like you said, mix and match and see what works and what doesn't. So kudos to them. Another thing I want to talk about, James Harden and Russell Westbrook. So it was crazy that Russ and Harden didn't travel with the team. My first thought was not even COVID. At least from Russell Westbrook's standpoint. I thought it was like, Kawhi type of situation where it was kind of a family manner. But now it kind of makes sense because a couple of days ago, they broke the news and basically they said that Russell Westbrook and James Harden got, tested positive for the coronavirus. And Russell Westbrook actually broke the silence and had posted on Instagram or Twitter, I believe, and said, I tested positive for COVID-19 prior to my team's departure to Orlando. I'm currently feeling well, quarantined, and looking forward to rejoining my teammates when I am cleared. Thank you all for the well wishes and continued support. Please take the virus seriously. Be safe. Mask up. Why not as well, too. Obviously, Harden got tested for as well, too. A lot of people were making jokes and saying, he probably one of the only dudes that was at the strip club, just doing what he had to do and whatnot, which was hilarious. But, I feel like we're still in the infant stages of the coronavirus that we really don't know how you can catch it. I mean, we kind of just compare it to past COVID cases or like the common flu or whatnot, but we really don't know. So, hopefully he can get healthy and be with his team. The only thing that's going to suck, which Austin Rivers alluded to, was, them taking about 2 weeks to get their wind back, get their rhythm back. But it's kind of a blessing in disguise as well, too, because we know what we're going to expect out of James Harden, and we know what we're going to expect out of Russell Westbrook. For the most part, we kind of know what we're going to get out of Eric Gordon as well, too. But now that, these people or these players are gone for a bit, it forces other people to step up. So they're going to need that because, let's be real, looking at the trends with James Harden and Russell Westbrook, there's going to be nights where their shots not falling. And someone else is going to have to step up. So I love it for him as well, too. And I think there's still going to be a threat as well. And then also James Harden had arrived as well, too, finally today. So I don't know exactly when they got tested, but it seems like he came up negative today or whatnot. So now he's in that isolation, I think, for like 48 hours, and they're going to test him multiple times. And then if all that's good, he can start practicing with his team as well too. And then also Jokic came back as well too, which is dope.
It's crazy.
Yeah, the Serbian guy.
Joker.
Basically, he wanted to travel with the team a couple weeks ago, but that was delayed due to COVID-19 infection. So there was a lot of traveling, complications. But like I said, he was in Serbia while the whole quarantine was going down, and he found out he got tested positive, so he had to wait to clear up, and now he's good to go as well, which kind of leads me into essentially what keep saying Doc Rivers, Austin and Doc Rivers look alike. But Austin Rivers had an interview yesterday after practice, and basically they were asking him like a whole bunch of questions. He's a native, Orlandian or whatever you want to call it as well too.
Orlandioian.
But anyways, Austin Rivers was saying, and why I'm bringing Jokic and the Nuggets up as well too, and I want your thoughts on this, but he's basically saying that, the Rockets are one of 3 or 4 teams that seriously have a shot at winning the championship. So already our preconceived notions are the Clippers, the Lakers, that's 2, Bucks, that's another one, the Rockets. Do you think those are the only 4 teams that have a legit shot to be, in all honesty, out of those 22 teams that are in the bubble, or do you think there's more?
Oh, man, that's a bold statement, Austin Rivers.
It's a very, very bold statement.
And honestly, how stuff be looking, Rockets are not promised anything. But, no, again, I would throw a team like Philly in there and possibly a team like Philly. I would, and this is a contender, not saying that they would get super far.
Yeah.
I would throw a Denver and I would throw a Toronto in there. You know what I'm saying? It's going to get interesting. It's going to be harder games than we think possibly. Definitely with all this COVID in and out of class types going on. But I think that's a bold statement to make. I mean, yes. I mean, the matchups that might be astronomical, that might be one of those things where it's like, yo, we've all been waiting for this. Those will come up down the stretch. And those involve teams that he said, yes. But him saying only those 4 teams are going to have a chance at winning the title type, I can't hone in on that. It has very much truth to it, but I can't just say flat out, yes, you're completely right, because there's a lot of factors going on and changes, unless we're just going to get lied to and people are going to skip out on testing. They're not going to let people play. You know what I'm saying? Imagine a Game 7 in a series and your superstar gets tested for COVID. Like, from a league standpoint, are you going to tell them you have to go? I don't know. I mean, yes, but still, like,
Yeah, I mean, I see what you're saying, and he's. I mean, everyone's entitled to their own opinion as well too. I definitely think the Rockets have a chance. I mean, they have. This is the era of the dynamic duos, and they have 2 MVPs on their team.
Yeah.
So I agree with him that they're going to be able to compete for a title, but I disagree with him. I feel like it's a little disrespectful to only rank those teams as well too. Like I said, we're assuming it's the Bucks and the 2 Los Angeles teams as well too. But like you said, I agree with you, bro. The Raptors are the reigning champs. Like, don't disrespect them. Obviously, they lost Kawhi and they lost Danny Green, but they still have their core intact. Pascal's gotten better. OG's gotten better. A lot of players have upped their game, and I think Nick Nurse is, in my opinion, the best coach in the Eastern Conference right now as well too. So you have them. You have the Celtics with Jason Tatum emerging into a superstar before our eyes with a dog like Kemba, with all that wing play. You have them. You have Miami, who aren't no slouch as well too, and then you also have, like you said, Denver as well too. And those are my teams who I think have a legitimate shot at winning, and Philly as well too. You got Ben Simmons, and you got Joel Embiid. You got a lot of teams that are going to fight for that. And like I said earlier, and what I keep saying every single episode, there's no home court advantage, bro.
Yeah.
So it's going to come down to who has the most chemistry. I mean, who who can essentially find that rhythm, and be able to play together. And like I said, there's no fans as well too, and who can catch that fire and who has that discipline as well too. Because when you're trapped in a bubble, when you're away from your family and you're away from your everyday routine, this is your new normal now. So you have to figure out how to attack your day by day. So for him to say that, I don't agree. So we'll see, and I'm interested to see now. When he gets subbed into the game, who's gonna come for him?
Yeah.
So it's gonna be real interesting as well too. But there's hope in the NBA. It's not like last year where KD was on the Warriors and whatnot, and it was a foregone conclusion. Like, we really don't know who's gonna win. We can play the percentage games as well too. But like you said, like, this is something that's completely new. And like you said, what if there's a game 7 and James Harden's ruled out, tested positive for coronavirus, has to quarantine, isolate, whatever, for 14 days. Your superstar is gone. They're going to take advantage of that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it's too early to determine who's going to win, is what I'm trying to say as well. Aside from that, moving on to the next topic, LeBron and others made some headlines as well, too. So I guess I'll try to put all this in one little bubble. You like what I said there? So LeBron won't wear social justice message on a Lakers jersey. So basically, he chose to wear his name, James, on the back of his jersey. And a couple of quotes from him. It was no disrespect to the list that was handed down to all the players, James said Saturday in a conference call from Florida. I commend anyone that decides to put something on the back of their jersey. It's just something that I didn't seriously resonate with my mission, with my goal. And then he also said, everything that I do has a purpose, has a meaning. I don't need to have something on the back of my jerseys for people to understand my mission or know what I'm about and what I'm here to do as well. He also said, I would have loved to have a say on what would have went on the back of my jersey, James said. I had a couple things in mind, but I wasn't a part of that process, which is okay as well, too. Another notable player who I believe won't be wearing won't be wearing like one of those names on the back of his jersey is Kawhi Leonard as well too. So he also had an interview as well, and basically I felt what he was saying. I believe if I can find that quote, where that on at? Let me see.
Kawhi said,
Okay, so they asked him about wearing his jersey and obviously his thoughts on everything that's going on. And to him, he said, for me and my teammates, pretty much everybody were black. So we've been dealing with this situation. We've been giving back to our community. It's just broadcasting now since everybody has been quarantined, I feel like. But I'm just going to continue to do what I've been doing, giving back to my community, educating my community, and just keep going from there as well too. He also said, what's happened, what everybody has been saying on the news, it's been like that for me. I've been seeing those situations, so it's nothing new to me, and I'm still, like I said before, going to help and educate people as well as my teammates. It doesn't matter if we make a statement on the back of our jersey. It's about doing the work as well, too. And another person who made headlines as well, too, was actually Jimmy Butler. So the headline for him was that he wants no name on the back of his jersey. So a quote from him, I've decided not to. With that being said, I hope that my last name doesn't go on there as well, just because I love and respect all the messages that the league did choose. But for me, I felt like with no message, with no name, it's going back to like who I was. And if I wasn't who I was today, I'm no different than anybody else of color, and want that to be my message in the sense that just because that I'm an NBA player, everybody has the same right, no matter what, and that's how I feel about my people of color as well too. So that was dope, choice of words and dope messages from all of them as well too. And it comes back to a couple things. One, like I said, talking like you can put that label on the back of your jersey, but what is that actually doing? You know what I'm saying? I don't think it's really creating any discussions, especially to people of color. I mean, the average majority may see it and say, "Oh, I wonder why he's doing that." But that's as far as it's gonna go, as well too. So LeBron James' whole situation is like, it don't matter. what's going on, because the only change is going to come from being about action. And we've talked about this in the past couple of episodes as well too. And same with Kawhi, in the sense that we do see these things every day. It's just that because of the pandemic, the majority is starting to actually open up their eyes. But we've been battling this every single day. And what I like about Jimmy Butler the most as well too is like, I rock with the no name, because it's like, no matter the hierarchy you are, the level you obtain, you can be rich, you can be very well known, publicized. The fact of the matter is, if you're black, the fact that you're black,
rich, good,
yeah,
still.
I lost my train of thought. But it's like, no matter how high you think you are, you're always going to remain black, is what I'm trying to say. So I like how he's showcasing that. But what are your thoughts on all of them not choosing to, have any of those social justice jerseys or messages as well too?
I think it goes back to what I was kind of saying last week, in that, these surface things are cool, but what's really going on, what's really happening, and the toughest part is to unite, and we have a common goal, which is the humane and equal treatment of black and colored people in this country. But it hurts to process when you get into the nitpicky of he's not wearing the name on the jersey, he's wearing a name, he needs to wear his name. It's all cosmetic. And if we, I think LeBron's quote maybe resonates the most with me. At first it came off like, what? But he kind of got into like, yo, you guys know what I'm doing. Like, I actually do this stuff.
My resume speaks
what I'm
for
saying?
itself.
When they see James, it should be synonymous with, what I'm saying? And there is a part of this that it makes it more of a detachment, as far as, hey, he has that on the back of his jersey. Cool. That's that message. I'm watching this person with that message on the back of their jersey, instead of maybe the light clicking for some fans and some people that don't understand it, saying, hey, I'm watching a black man who, no matter the level, is subjugated and is made to be a part of the results of systematic racism. No matter what level you are, the system is made to ultimately affect him and ruin him through violence, through policy, through ultimate build. So I understand where they're coming from. I think there's a bigger picture to be seen. Sayings, no sayings, jersey, no jersey, shirts versus skins, don't matter to me. Arrest the cops that killed Breonna Taylor. That's what it is.
Yeah, I like that. And I agree with you as well too. So going back to Kawhi Leonard, obviously, he's known for his load managing. He had a damn near 3.5, 4 months off as well too. He made a joke. He's like, "Has it been 4 months already?" I didn't know, but he basically said, "I feel good. I was able to work out, get strong, and prepare for this moment. Now that we're in it, it's about to be first practice today, so I'm excited." And basically, they're going back and forth. And obviously, Kawhi has been battling, lower leg issues for majority of his career. Yeah. And basically, Doc Rivers said that there's essentially no limits on Kawhi. He's healthy for the most part. And that still doesn't mean that we don't want to maintain him and get him through the first 8 games and get ready for playoffs. We want to be smart about this as well, too. So a lot of people, always bash him about, not playing back-to-backs and being, like I said, cautious with everything that's going on as well, too. Do you think this is smart for Doc Rivers and that whole coaching staff to monitor him moving forward? And in general, just, your average superstar, the Anthony Davises of the world, and LeBron, who already have the number 1 seed cleared up. Giannis, who obviously is healthy now, but he was battling some knee injuries as well, too. And, a player like Joel Embiid, who's known for not being in the best shape or having knick-knack injuries. Do you think it's smart for the Clippers and then other players to kind of, if you have a pretty secure spot since there's no home and away, kind of dial it down a little bit or have like a not load management, but like a minute restriction on how many minutes they play for those 8 regular season games so they can be healthy for the playoffs because a lot can happen between day 1 and day 14 if they're playing every other day. So.
I think, and I'll drive my point back around, but definitely if I'm the Lakers coaching staff, unless it's for a rhythm standpoint, just to see some new looks or whatever like that, I'm playing them for conditioning purposes. I mean, I'll probably LeBron and AD will probably give it their all the first game back, Lakers versus Clippers.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
That's where you at.
And then, honestly, bro, I come down the stretch, I play them however much they wanted to play the first 3 quarters, and then boom, let it go. Maybe not play them in the fourth from a psychological standpoint.
Yeah.
From a competitive standpoint and from a just like, what the fuck. I would play them the whole thing. But honestly, we're not going to pull our cards. Y'all play the first 3, see how it goes. All right, cool. We have the film. You're done. And then the next 7 games, you guys are playing. We'll set it up, stretch here. You come in from the first, and then you'll sit, and then you come in the second. You'll go all the way till halftime. You'll sit, maybe coming out of halftime, or you come in the third. You'll sit, you come in, start the fourth, take a break, middle fourth, finish the fourth type joint. And then the last 2 or 3 games, you might not play for me, bro. Easy as that, because I'm protecting you. But it comes back around to if you know that something works, why go against the grain? And this is not one of those things, take good to great type joint. It's like, it's a machine. If you know your car likes to crank during the daytime, why are you going out and trying to drive it at night? Kind of like saying with Kawhi, it's like, we're going to monitor him. If he doesn't want to play back-to-backs, we're not going to play him back-to-backs. I do not want Kawhi to get hurt because Kawhi, we know, definitely runs during the daytime, metaphorically speaking. Definitely runs when we rest him. Or, all right, Kawhi, what you want to do? All right, you're going to play this game. Every other game, you're going to play 4 games at a startup? Cool. You're going to play 3? Cool. But we know we'll have him for the playoffs because that's what he did. Or maybe if we're up in a series, all right, Kawhi, soreness, cool, whatever like that. We're not really worried about it. Come back. I'm playing him to the best that I know how. We're working with him because he's going to get the job done when he is playing. That's all it is for me, and I think that's the safest bet. And it comes down to him from a legacy standpoint, from a body understanding standpoint, from his family, stuff like that. If there does come a time where that conflicts with the actual need for him, and we're like, what's up, Kawhi? Are we going to have you? Or we not? Then we'll have a totally different conversation. But for right now, all is well. I'm going to have to just do it off of the strength of this worked before. Let's keep doing what works. And I think Doc Rivers is a great coach to do that with.
Cool. So with this, with the neutral site taking place right now and, with a player which seems like Kawhi who doesn't thrive off of no energy at all, do you think he's the most equipped to, essentially have the best playoff run from an individual standpoint?
Again, Hooper's going to hoop, bro. This is closed door, open gym. Like I keep saying, man. That your star players are gonna hoop. It's gonna get kind of scary. It's gonna be like, did he just hit a half court shot type? Mm-hmm. This is summertime runs with refs and whistles and so on and so forth. In a way, it's gonna be a lot more intense to that, I would assume. But this is summer league basketball. This is NBA summer league. This is in a lot of senses of the time and the setting. So hoopers are gonna hoop. Maybe even some of the guys, the B-side guys, that were like, what was going on with him before? The lights are off in a way, and the hoopers and the court and the squeaks to the gym, and that's all. It's gonna reveal. This is a different kind of light. This is like an ultraviolet light. It's gonna reveal. So a blue light, a black light. Yeah,
for sure. Moving on, almost done for the day. Drew Holiday and his wife, Lauren Holiday, are using the New Orleans Pelicans guard's remaining game checks for this season to launch a social justice fund. The game checks are worth up to $5.3 million and will help start the Drew and Lauren Holiday Social Justice Impact Fund, which is designed to aid communities in New Orleans, Indianapolis, and the Los Angeles area, which obviously he has ties to. Honestly, quote from Drew, when it came down to it, it was me and my wife talking about what we could do to kind of further this movement and progression and being able to help out our community and just being able to help. Drew Holiday told ESPN. We were just kind of sitting in the house, in the bed, thinking about it, and my wife said, I think you should do this and you should do the rest of your salary. That's a great idea because we want to make an impact. God has blessed us with so much. We know a couple of things that are important are time and money, and right now we have both. So to be able to give away our money to help further this movement in Black-owned businesses that have taken a hit in COVID-19 to us, it felt like the perfect time and opportunity. So most of that money will be dedicated to nonprofits, Black-owned businesses, and citywide initiatives that seek to bring about equitable outcomes for Black and brown communities in New Orleans, up to 1.5, LA/Compton, 1.5, Indianapolis, 1 mil, and another mil will go to Black-owned businesses in more than 10 other cities across the country as well, too. While $500,000 is committed to institutions of higher learning, including historically Black colleges and initiatives. I feel like there's really no comment on that, man. I love it. You got anything to say?
Nah, bro. Power to the people.
Power to the people. Power to the people as well, too. So I guess these things kind of coincide as well, too. But there's been a lot of, I guess what we talked about last week, like one of the biggest concerns about everything restarting is like, yo, can you trust these players to, stay inside the bubble and not be on any fuck shit as well, too? And a player from the Sacramento Kings has already broken protocol. So Sacramento Kings center,
Rashawn?
we tried to say that before we start.
I would say Rashawn.
Rashawn Holmes
Forgive
is
us if
in
we're getting it
quarantine.
wrong.
Sorry if we got it wrong. So Sacramento Kings center Rashawn Holmes is in quarantine once again after leaving the NBA's bubble to pick up a food delivery. Seems like someone said, F those sample size meals. I need that real shit. Holmes said,
What do you think he got? What do you think he got?
I mean, if you're doing that, you're probably getting some Mexican food, like some tacos. I mean, with me personally, when I do it, I get tacos, or I get pizza, or I get like Chick-fil-A. I mean, not Chick-fil-A, Chipotle.
Bro, it's not Roof Chris, bro. Get your ass back in the bubble.
That's what I'm saying, yo. So he basically, because of fucking with the protocol, he's subjected to an additional 10-day quarantine in his hotel room. He said, I apologize for my actions and look forward to rejoining my teammates for our playoff push, said Holmes, who has 8 days left of his new quarantine period as well, too. And then also, basically, they're saying that players are going to essentially be undergoing advanced protocols as well, too. So some highlights, I believe, from what I had here. At least 14 days. Let me see. At least 14 days must have passed from the latter of their of their first positive test. So basically, this is like something that's kind of new. So NBA informs teams that antibody tests added to return protocol as well too. I don't really even want to talk about that, but I'll just read a little bit of this. Okay. The memo laid out 4 steps each person has to clear to no longer be restricted from participating with their teams. At least 14 days must have passed from the latter of their first positive test or the resolution of their symptoms, and they must pass 2 negative PCR tests at least 24 hours apart. They must return a positive antibody test within the past 30 days, and they must pass a negative rapid coronavirus test before taking part in any close physical contact with other people as well too. So that's one thing. Another thing that made headlines as well too is apparently there was a rumor with Donovan Mitchell, and apparently this girl from social media who may or may not, I don't really know nowadays, have had, or maybe a little shorty, a side shorty of his or whatnot. Apparently he went on Instagram or Twitter, I can't really remember, social media in general, and she said, yeah, the NBA is definitely getting canceled. They already got me up in the bubble, essentially, and I guess people done a little research and saw that she was linked to Donovan Mitchell. So a lot of people were saying, like, damn, like, the things guys like basically guys can't stay sane just for a week. Like something always has to happen as well too, which is crazy. And then it was funny too because Twitter went crazy with Chris Paul because the biggest thing with Chris Paul is I think he's the president of the Players Association or whatever like that. So they had a lot of memes of Chris Paul, basically being a person snitching and whatnot as well too. And
That's funny.
even Rudy Gobert chimed in and basically said like, "Yo, like it's kind of petty if someone uses the hotline. Essentially, we're all grown ass men, and no one should, no one should snitch. Essentially, as well too." So, like I said, there's a lot of pictures. There's Tom and Jerry right here.
That's funny.
There's a one with Chris, like they're saying Chris Paul 6'9", snitches as well too. There's just a lot of memes that came out as well too. And a lot of people or Black Twitter or social media in general just basically was like, "Yo, so I mean, we're basically taught and molded to never snitch, but I feel like this is the one exception where I would snitch. If I saw it, I would snitch because one." You're tampering the NBA season. You're messing with the money. You're messing up, the platforms that are available to bring more awareness of issues that's going on. And then also as well too is like you're not only putting yourself in danger, you're putting your teammates in danger, and not only your teammates in danger, essential staff that are a part. So the coaches, the trainers and all that other stuff. The other stuff you're putting them at harm as well too. But I feel like I like the rules that are in play because at the end of the day, we're trying to reduce the outbreak. So if someone's breaking protocol, then by any means necessary, this one time, this one exception, I promise you won't be in the record books of snitching. By any means, snitch. But what are your thoughts on everything?
You wouldn't fly a girl out if she brought you food and
not until I'm out the bubble.
And she was COVID tested?
Not until I'm out the bubble, bro.
Okay.
I know it's tempting because my other friend named Jimmy, he would probably say, yes, I would.
Her and her friends want to come see you and bring you home-cooked food.
Yeah.
No?
I mean, I'm a competitor, man.
Okay, I'm just asking.
So at the end of the day, I'm trying to get that chip, you know what I'm saying?
I feel you.
It may not be as important to the Washington Wizards, the Nets, the Sacramento Kings.
Rihanna wants to see you.
Then I'm breaking the rules, bro. It's like, nah. She can wait. I feel like she can wait. I mean, if they got her there, if they tested her like 2-3 times that day, she can stay at my suite any given day.
She can wait. I'm going to get her and bringing her back.
You just had
and taking her
back.
back.
Rihanna.
I'm going to get her, bringing her back, and dropping her off.
And dropping her off, bro. I need all that. Anyways.
Yeah, that's my take on that.
Yeah. So what are your thoughts on, the repercussions, the snitching and whatnot? Do you think it's necessary? Or do you think they're grown-ass men, so they should be able to, deal with being in the bubble?
I think the NBA being such a tight-knit group, it's going to bring social repercussions for somebody who's picking up the phone and calling the tone. From a safety standpoint, from a human life standpoint, given the seriousness of this virus, I can't blame somebody for that. But if you're doing it just to get the advantage, that's kind of sick in a way. But at the same time, again, no pun intended, it's all kind of sick. So there's no right or wrong here. I mean, other than you're going to lose to the team. You saw LeBron, sneak in Chipotle. So, that, and you just want him out of there. So you probably still lose at that point. But yeah, it's a double-edged sword. But it is what it is. It's going to be some rule breaking. There's going to be some snitching, and there's going to be the other half of it where everything's fine in some aspects too. So we have to live with it. It's all in the pot. It's all in the bubble.
All in the pot, all in the bubble. You're only as strong as your weakest soldier. So try to do your best. You guys have already been quarantined for damn near 3 months. So you're doing what you love. Obviously, there's family to be taken into consideration, and some people just like to be a little reckless. But think of the bigger picture with everything that I listed as well too.
Yeah.
Getting your paychecks, spreading awareness with social injustices that are going off, competing for a title, and to set an example for everyone that's watching to socially distance, wash your hands, just do what's necessary to, stop the spread of the virus. And that's all I really have to say in regards to that manner. But Any last words you want to say? Closing out for episode 86 of the Seezus Show.
Keep your head on the swivel. Stay protected. Stay in power. Love to everybody. Thanks for the support as always, man. It's Straight XXIV. Thank you for watching episode 86 of the Seezus Show.
Yes, sir. That was that's a wrap up of episode 86 of the Seezus Show. Trade XXIV, Sir Seezus. Make sure to subscribe on all forms of social media at Trade XXIV, at Sir Seezus, at the Seezus Show. We are out.